Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Tumi Sarveshwareshwara, Brajendra Kumara. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Read the translations. First one. You can read aloud. I think he'll take time to say. You can read aloud.
O you son of the wedding of Raja, you are the Lord of all Lords. According to your will, creation, destruction takes place. According to your will, Lord Brahma creates, and according to your will, Lord Vishnu maintains. According to your will, Lord Shiva destroys. According to your will, Maya constructs the prison of this world. According to your will, the living being takes birth and die. According to your will, they make prosperity and will bring happiness and sorrow. The tiny soul bound by Maya, mainly struggles in the pressure of without your sanction, he is unable to do anything. You are my only protector and maintainer. Except for your lotus feet, there is no other hope for me. No longer confident of my own strength and endeavor, I have become totally dependent on your grace. Bhakti Vinod is most poor. His pride has been leveled. Now, in accordance with your will, he lives and dies.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So this has great relevance to what we will start soon. That's why we thought to say this. Try to learn some new songs also. Is it not? The melody is sweet, but the meaning is more deep. Okay, I will share across this thing. I should share on this now. Yeah, they are able to see. Hare Krishna, welcome. Today we are assembling on a different day. It's also raining. Still all of you took out time to come. And
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There is so many festival services coming up from many of already have started from yesterday only. So very grateful that you took out time, Hare Krishna, and came here. We will offer prayers and start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Radhunatan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम् हरे कृष्णा we had started invocation. Correct? So the invocation mantra and the mantra 1 are the mantras for recitation. So whenever we gather, we will recite them. So that you don't need to take much time outside the class. In Bhagavad Gita, there are more shlokas. In Ishopanishad, only 2 are there. So just the habit of reciting every time we gather will give you a lot of help in memorizing. We will do the first one together because we already have learnt it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Mantra 1 is familiar. Many of you must have heard. Okay, still those who don't know, we can repeat after. Ishavasyam idam sarvam Yatkincha jagatyam jagat Tena tyaktena bhunjitha Magridah kasya svidhanam. So mantra 1, today we will see the meaning. That time we will go by word to word. But mantra, what is the invocation mantra, we have seen. Correct? So last session we completed the introduction part. We saw what are Vedas, why one should study Vedas, the 3 pramanas, right? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda. 2 ways of receiving knowledge. Remember? What are they? Aroha, Avaroha, Pantha. So then we saw, okay, Shabda Praman is considered superior because it takes us to the perfect knowledge and it doesn't, we don't need to spend so much time. In less time, which is in human life, that's much only, you can reach the perfect knowledge without defects. And the highest authority, because in Shabda Praman, the authority is important. The highest authority is God himself, Sri Krishna. And that's why the knowledge given by him directly, that is Bhagavad Gita, is most important. That's one of the foremost Vedic scripture. The next foremost Vedic scripture is Srimad Bhagavatam. And for that to be established, there was whole history of how Vedas were written down, what all happened after writing Vedas, Puranas, wo sab bhi likhe unhone. Still there was some feeling of discontent or dissatisfaction. Then Narada Muni comes and tells to Vyasadeva. Then he rewrites, recompiles Bhagavatam Purana. So that's why it is written at the end, even after Vedanta Sutra, it is written. That's the last work. In fact, it is told the most mature presentation of Vedic knowledge. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is called as very, very superior Shabda Praman. So the 2 books are important. That's how you get to know Vedic knowledge properly. So Prabhupada ends with this last statement in the introduction. You see the last statement. We finally request those who are actually after Vedic knowledge to try to understand the explanation of all Vedic knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad. So this is the essence of the whole introduction. To bring to this point, Prabhupada narrated that whole Vedas, Praman, all that was for this. Okay? Of course, last time I did not explain this analogy. This is told by one Srila Prabhupada disciple. Jackfruit is considered as the most difficult fruit to eat. Very sweet, but very difficult to eat. Because the process of opening it up itself is so difficult. Most of the time, people become dissatisfied, frustrated there only and leave it. Because it is so difficult to cut, and then it is so sticky, and sometimes some things which should not be eaten get eaten with that. That white, ye jo rehta hai. So it's very difficult. But there is a lot of value in jackfruit. Right? Now you may wonder why we are talking this. So this jackfruit is like that Vedic knowledge. It is very, very valuable, but not everyone can open it and get the essence out of it. Is it not? So one needs a expert person. उसको तेल डालना, वो कैसे काटना, किस बीच के चीज को छोड़ना, निकाल के देना, सब लोग उसको चुनना चाहते हैं. Last thing, they all want that last thing, but the effort is very difficult to go through. So like that, one needs an expert guru, acharya, like Srila Prabhupada, to get the essence of all the Vedic knowledge. Otherwise, there are many people who are studying Vedic knowledge, but they don't reach the conclusion of Vedic knowledge. It takes a lot of lifetimes of process like that. So this example is often given in that regard. So we started invocation mantra. Purnamadaha, Purnam idam. Purnamadaha matlab, what is the meaning of it? You remember? Purnam adaha. That is perfect and come. That means what? Adaha means it's a pronoun. That is what? Supreme personality of Godhead. Adaha. That is perfect. Idam. Idam matlab Sanskrit mein actually meaning is something which is very close to you. Idam. Ye. वो और ये लिटरली मीनिंग. ये पूर्ण है. ये मतलब कौन सा? जहां पे हम हैं इसलिए तो ये बोल रहे हैं ना, नजदीक है हमारा. वो क्या है? ये this material world. This is perfect and complete. So how is Purnam Adaha explained? There were talks about Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So Prabhupada translates as Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan is perfect and complete. How is that established? Any of you remember? Or you can even check the book and say how it is explained. Oh, okay. Take a mic. Someone please explain. Break it down. We saw example of Gulab Jamun also, na? Why? What is that in relation?
So, Gulab Jamun is like Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality, and Brahman is like the smell, the nose or the smell, and then Paramatma is like nose, smell and sight at the same time. Like we perceive, we see Gulab Jamun, and sees nose plus eyes plus tongue. All this together, we see it as Bhagavan.
So the understanding of Gulab Jamun with only smell is first level understanding. That is Brahman.
Brahman.
Not that only smell is Brahman. The understanding with smell
is Brahman.
The understanding with smell and sight or vision of Gulab Jamun. That is second, higher understanding of Gulab Jamun. But the complete understanding is understanding with smell, with sight, and with also taste. Similarly, the Supreme Truth also has distinct qualities. First quality is Sat. Sat matlab kya hai? Sat. Present. Sat. Eternal. Sat means existence. Like satta. किसका सत्ता चल रहा है अभी बोलते हैं ना? Sat means whose power is going on, whose existence is in power now, Who is in power now? Like, so satta ya sat means basically existence. So when we say sat, that means one's existence is long. That's why we say eternal. वो हमेशा के लिए अस्तित्व में रहता है. सत. Otherwise it's called असत. सत असत. इसीलिए वो बोलते हैं ना असतो मा सद्गमय. वो क्या क्यों बोल रहे हो? What is that meaning in this context? असत से सत के तरफ जाओ. मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय. Its meaning is the same only, you know. So basically you move from matter to spirit. Asat is matter. It is existing. We are not telling it is false. To say it as false is some wrong philosophy. It is existing, but it is temporary. Like I am Chaitanya Prasad Das with this type of body. I am existing. I cannot say that I don't exist. Or this is dream and all. No, that's not the right. What is I exist, but I have very limited existence. That's why I can't truly be said to be existing. अगर है तो इटर्नल रहना चाहिए, तभी उसका वैल्यू है. अगर नहीं है तो उसका वैल्यू नहीं है, वो टेम्पररी. In that sense it is, yeah, it is false. But it is not to mean that we did not exist only. No, not like. Okay? So only spiritual entities, that is Supreme Lord, liberated jivas, they are having sat. Brahman is having sat because Brahman always exists everywhere. The second aspect, Paramatma has what qualities? Chit. Only Chit. Sat
plus
and Chit. Don't say only Chit. Chit matlab?
cognizance.
हाँ? मन.
Cognizance.
नहीं, चित्ता वो एक्चुअली प्रज्ञा होता है. चित्ता, ये चित्त उससे ही आता है. चित्ता comes from chit only, but specifically talking चित्त means knowledge. चेतना, प्रज्ञा, मतलब आपको पता है यहाँ पे कुछ हो रहा है ना. चित्त means you become conscious of it. When you have knowledge, you become conscious. So Paramatma is there everywhere. He knows everything. That aspect of God who knows everyone and everything is Paramatma. Okay, that's why when we say he is there everywhere, he is always there. That's why he is Sat. And also he knows everything, everyone. That's why it's called Chit. Sat and Chit. Now Bhagavan,
Sat, Chit, Anand.
Anand. So because he has all the three qualities to the fullest extent, he is called perfect and complete. If someone asks why Bhagavan is perfect and complete, why not Brahman, why not Paramatma? You will be asked. That's why I'm repeating. So you have to understand and explain it like this. Sat, Sat and Chit, Sat, Chit and Ananda. So Bhagavan understanding is the most complete understanding. Like that. Yes.
तो ब्राह्मण में मुक्ति मिलती, जो मोक्ष मिलता है वो जाता है, तो उनके पास नॉलेज नहीं होता जब वो वहां ब्राह्मण में एक बार.
उनके पास नॉलेज यहाँ से लेके जाएंगे, पर वहां पे उनका चित्त का कुछ उपयोग ही नहीं. दे आर जस्ट एग्जिस्टिंग. आर दे बिकमिंग कॉन्शियस और आर दे अवेयर ऑफ लॉर्ड? नो. आर दे हैविंग आनंद? नो.
What do they do there?
They just are existing. That is why it is considered not very worthy goal. You just exist, you just exist without any miseries. That's the Shanti. Just exist. So that is considered more, in fact, it is considered more miserable than even being in material. Suicide. Spiritual suicide, Prabhupada says. Spiritual suicide. Anyway, so that is, see, Prabhupada also tells that Lord, the Supreme Person, should be both formless and should have also form. Why? Because how can he has less than his creation? if everything which has come from him has a form, like we have come from him, we have form, so he should also have form, correct? So how can he not have form? How can you say that he doesn't have form? He should have everything that what has emanated from him has, correct na? Simple logic, Prabhupada is explaining. Then that's how we saw Purnam Adaha. Purnam Idam. ये जगत परफेक्ट एंड कंप्लीट, इसको कैसे समझे हम प्रभुपाद जी के वर्ड से? वेरी गुड. एफर्ट नहीं चाहिए, एक्सटर्नल यूनिट भी नहीं चाहिए, कुछ भी जरूरत बाहर से नहीं. व्हाट इज इट कॉल्ड? perpetual motion machine, self sufficient. That's the perfect word, self sufficient. No need of any extraneous involvement or effort to maintain. So how 24 elements, what is 20? Yes. So what are those 24 elements? 5 कर्मेंद्रियस प्रभु is telling. Then 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिया, 10 हो गए. और ग्रॉस एलिमेंट्स, हाँ ये हो गया था. रुको मैं दिखा भी देता हूँ आप. हाँ, ग्रॉस एलिमेंट्स वो भी 5 हो गए, 15 हो गए. और सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट, सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स मीन्स स्किन, नोज, वो सेंसेस हो गए, वो नॉलेज एक्वायरिंग सेंसेस हो गए, स्किन, नोज, टंग. ना अभी सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स. हाँ हाँ. So the objects for senses are called sense objects. अभी स्किन है, स्किन क्या चाहता है? It wants touch. Nose, what does it want? It wants smell. So the desirable objects for senses are called sense objects. संस्कृत में उसको विषय वस्तु कहते हैं. विषय या इंद्रिय विषय है ना. इंद्रियों के जो विषय है उनका आसक्ति कहाँ है? वो इंद्रिय विषय. So then there was, तो 20 हो गए. देन बाद में क्या थे? सटल नेचर, मन बुद्धि अहंकार, और लास्टली प्रधान. तो टोटल 24. So everything in this world is made up of these 24 only. So these only combine at the time of creation, they show something and it's maintained, and at one point they are destroyed. So who makes it happen like this? Time. See, Prabhupada writes that, you see, the universe, कोई पढ़िए उसको? Have the book with you? The universe, it's page number 11. मेरे बुक में तो 11 है. मतलब ये दूसरा पैराग्राफ का लास्ट पार्ट. The universe has its own time. मिला? Correct. पढ़िए. Yes.
It's like the energy of complete whole,
हाँ.
and when that be annihilated by the all facilities are given to the small complete units, namely the living beings, to enable them to realize the complete whole. All forms of incompleteness are
Okay,
experienced.
you have gone to third one actually. This one. The universe functions on its own time scale, which is fixed by energy of complete. And when that schedule is completed, are you seeing on screen? मैं इनको भी दिखा देता हूँ, शायद इनको भी दिखा रहे हैं हम शायद. When that schedule is completed, the temporary manifestation will be annihilated by complete arrangement. So time, it is so perfect that everything happens on its time. So time is making it creation, maintenance, destruction. There is no conscious effort from outside. Okay? So that's how we saw this world is also perfect and complete. And then before we last time ended the session, we also discussed then why we see so much of pain, misery, injustice in this world. So ये हम पढ़ रहे थे last time. किसी को याद है ये? What you remember, please? Read. Tell what you tell. Very important. हाँ, इसको explain करिए. Very good. That statement is important to remember. Anyone explain? What does it mean, incompleteness experienced? Okay. Yes. Incomplete. So though things are in this world are complete, we think it is incomplete. Why? Because our knowledge about the Supreme Lord is not complete. थोड़ा poetic लगता है words, but it has very deep meaning. You know that famous story, one man with his son was going on the road and he saw that on the way there was some garden. There were big pumpkins there. You know this story? तो pumpkins थे वहां पे. तो वो बच्चा पूछा, पापा ये क्या है? ये pumpkin. But the plant itself was so thin and slender. है ना, जो बोपला का जो क्रीपर होता है, वो इतना पतला रहता है. पापा इतना बड़ा fruit on that small thin branch or this thing. हाँ, that's how it is grown, you see. And then थोड़ा समय के बाद वो आगे जाते हैं, वहां पे एक बहुत बड़ा पेड़ दिखता है. तो पेड़ धूप रहता है, तो बच्चे के साथ बोल, he tells to the child that let's take rest below. Okay, I will take rest below. And then when they sleep, after some time, something falls from top. It was a tamarind tree. Some tamarind fell. So the child gets up and the father, it कुछ गिर गया. क्या है पापा? This is the fruit of this tree. Oh, such big tree but such small fruit. And there we saw such small plant and a big fruit. This is so strange. The world is so strange. So then Papa told that imagine if this tree had big fruit and we were sleeping below, if that big fruit would have fallen, what would have happened? So sometimes when we don't know the purpose, we find, Array, God has made such an imperfect creation. But there is a deeper purpose behind it. It's a simple story. You must have, I thought it's told in Discover Yourself sessions. So the point is, when we don't know the purpose, we think this is incomplete. I just see in this world, so much of injustice happening. But we don't know what all has happened earlier and how that particular jiva is being rectified. And how others are also reaping benefit. Actually, we are so limited in our vision. What we see is at this point of time, at this junction, what is happening. Like, in a race, they have several laps. है ना, बहुत सारे लोग रहते हैं, घूमते रहते हैं, दौड़ते रहते हैं. Someone who has done so many laps, say around 20 laps, they have to complete. Someone who is on the 18th lap, and someone who is running in at the 6th lap or so, they both seem to be very close. But someone who has done 18 laps, he has gone so many times. So he is rewarded or he is not rewarded. समझ आ रहा है? So we don't know what has happened before. Our vision is only this life, and that too particular time when we interact with that person or things or events in life. So the world is not just what we see. There is so much baggage, we say it as karma, that will come in future. Prabhupada will describe. So the point here is, Prabhupada doesn't go to that side of discussion. He says that this world is, when we try to extract happiness at the bodily level, this world feels so incomplete. You feel so incomplete. But the world is complete to make us realize that one should not make their residence here. The purpose for this world is made is so that we realize, Amcha whatever, we should go there. That's the actual. So this is the important. See, in Vedic scriptures, there are two types of scriptures. One is called Nigama Shastras. निगम शास्त्र मतलब आप सुनते हैं निर्गमन, हाँ, निगम शास्त्र मतलब चले जाने, वापस चले जाने के लिए वो they give knowledge, they give inspiration, they in fact make us develop attachment to that other world, all that. That's called nigama shastra. That's why Bhagavatam is called nigama kalpataror galitam phal. सुना आपने? गलितम फलम, nigama kalpataru. वेदों के, in fact in the Vedas the nigama shastras are considered as superior shastras. उपनिषद, पुराणास, ये सब जो है ये है। और एक है आगम शास्त्र। आगम शास्त्र मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि वो जीव को इस जगत में रखता है, इधर ही रहना, ऐसा नहीं है। आगम शास्त्र इज टू इनवाइट गॉड टू दिस वर्ल्ड so that we serve him, like pancharatras, like there are many like that. How you can bring Lord here and worship him. Agama shastras, there are many Shaiva agama, Vishnu agama, many agama shastras. So they are agama shastras. So but nigama is considered superior because one can go to one's original place and serve the Lord in most best possible way, है ना? तो ऐसा नहीं कि भगवान को अपने काम पे लगाना है, अब मैं इधर रहना चाहता हूँ, आप इधर आओ ठीक है, जब तक रहेंगे तब आप सेवा करिए, बट ओरिजिनली वी शुड गो एंड सर्व लॉर्ड at his place in the best possible way he can be pleased. So that's nigama. So nigama shastra में कल्पतरु के गलित फल, कल्पतरु मतलब a plant like a coconut tree. Coconut tree is called kalpataru. So kalpataru means the best, desire fulfilling tree, the best tree. निगम शास्त्रों के वृक्ष के गलित फल है वो भागवत। गलितम फलम शुकम उकादमृतद्रवसम युतम. It goes ahead like that. So the point is, one should desire to attain that happiness, not happiness in this. As long as one looks for happiness in this world, one will always find incompleteness because the world is not, its nature is not like that. You understand? Like say suppose you go to a salt mine. Salt mine, शायद देखा नहीं होगा. Salt mine is a place where they dug this rock salt, those kind of. And there if you go, what you get is salt only. Rock salt, there you can't expect to have some sweet things. It's just, you have a wrong expectation. So who is to be blamed? You don't have the understanding about the world. That's why Krishna says Dukkhalaya Shashvat. At the same time, Krishna doesn't say anyway Dukkhalaya Shashvat Arjun, don't fight. Anyway, दुख होगा ही ना, तो मरने दो, ऐसा नहीं बोलते वो. He tells nonetheless to do duties. Why? ये बहुत ही contradicting लगता है. Anyone can answer why? This understanding that world is a miserable or temporary place is not to mean that one should passively sit and whatever happens in his life, he just sits like a baba and then let it everyone come slap him and go, loot him and go. ऐसा था क्या? Right? Otherwise, why Krishna wants? In fact, Krishna comes again and again into this world. Why? धर्म संस्थापनार्थ है. अगर ये वर्ल्ड टेम्पररी है और दुखमय है, भगवान क्यों आएंगे इधर? क्यों आते हैं? बाय द वे, धर्म क्यों स्थापना करेंगे वो? करेक्ट? Why? Why do you think? Yes, Prabhi. So it is in his interest, na? So that means he wants his fame to be spread and to be served. He wants himself to be served. But how does it help us?
Because he lost connection with the Lord. It makes us realize that.
So to attract, yes, very good. So to attract us, to take us back, that's interesting. Yes. So he comes, he sets the world in in a good situation so that one can practice a dharmic life, spiritual life. and then one can endeavor to go back. So Krishna does both. Huh? He sets the dharma and he also inspires the jiva to do bhakti. So both he does. Dharma samsthapanarthaya और भक्ति के लिए वो इंस्पिरेशन जन्म कर्म चमे दिव्यम वो लीलाएं भी करेंगे ऐसे भी. So we are told this world is dukkhalaya shashvat. Doesn't mean that we should not do our duties to set, uh, to have a proper setup in this world so that we can practice. We need some proper place, proper situation to practice spiritual life, right? One should endeavor for it. Krishna is not saying that one should not. In fact, he tells it as a duty. But while doing duty, one should know what possibly may come and accept it. Continue doing your duties. Doesn't mean we stop the duties. Huh? Doesn't mean we ignore the nature of world and try to make this world as a perfect world. It's also not this. Correct? जब तक पांडव थे, उन्होंने इतना कष्ट किया. They tried to set up. How long did they rule? It's told that there was counting. 16 years. Very good. 6 years by correct. 36. That's what in my mind was. So they had very less time of rule. But Shia, how much time they struggled to get the rules set up? इतना समय वो अज्ञातवास ये उसके पहले कितना कष्ट किया उन्होंने. उन्होंने इंद्रप्रस्थ को इतना अच्छा बनाया, उसको छीना गया, ये किया, इतना श्रम किया उन्होंने. Yes. So one should endeavor for one's doing duties. And the best possible way he should try to do it. But know the nature of this world. जब कृष्ण चले गए तो वो immediately they decided that no, we will not continue to stay. वे खुद चले जाते, महाप्रस्थान बोलते हैं उसको, है ना? परीक्षित को बिठाते, चले जाते. Yes. So the devotee is interested in this world because this world is made by God. First thing, this world can be used to serve God, and he wants to leave a legacy so that others continue serving God like that. So the illusory completeness. Can someone read this? This explains about, last time we also saw the nature of human life. Human life is one of the facilities given by God. See, this statement is there. Yes. यहाँ से पढ़िए. The human life.
The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being, and it is obtained after evolving through 84 lakh species of life in the cycle of birth and death. If in this human life of full consciousness, the living entity does not realize his completeness in relation to the complete whole, he loses the chance to realize his completeness and is again put into the evolutionary cycle by the law of material nature.
So now Prabhupada talks about if one doesn't use human life properly, what one falls into. Like today, आज भागवतम क्लास में भी बोल रहे थे, अगर भगवान के से आकृष्ट नहीं होंगे तो क्या होगा? याद है आपको? पुनः तमिश्रम, वो भी बोले, वो तमिश्रम में चले जाएंगे और पुनः पुनश्चर्वित चर्वणाना बोल रहे थे, बबल गम बोल रहे थे. पढ़िए. Because
illusory completeness, because we do not know that there is a complete arrangement in the nature for our maintenance, we make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. Because the living entity cannot enjoy the life of the senses without being dovetailed with the complete whole, the misleading life of sense enjoyment is illusion.
So यहाँ पे Prabhupada gives an interesting example. Where when Prabhu is reading that example, you should compare what it is with respect to our situation. Like we are in this world, how can we rise out of illusion? What is illusion and what is the actual situation? ये example में समझिए. Example बहुत graphic है. The
hand of a body is a complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. When the hand is severed from the body,
Sever means cut. Huh?
it may appear like a hand, but it actually has none of the potencies of a hand. Similarly, living beings are part and parcel of the complete whole. And if they are severed from the complete whole, the illusory representation of completeness cannot fully
Cannot
satisfy them.
satisfy them. Interesting, huh? So please point out that, yeah, this is the analogy.
The-
So, what is the parallels made? What is hand? What is hand cut? Huh? There is some principle told. No, in any example, you can always find some points of comparison, 1, 2, 3, and some principle which is proved from both the situation. Situation 1, situation 2. दोनों में कुछ similarities होंगे और एक principle होगा. तो क्या similarities है? Complete whole Krishna. Very good. Sahil Pro is telling me, yes. हाथ को, हाँ, yes, the hand is compared to a living being. Any part of the body.
And if we are मतलब हाथ को अगर कट करके साइड में डाला है तो वो कंप्लीट नहीं है, वो हाथ के कुछ पोटेंसीज नहीं है उसमें. सिमिलरली अगर हम भगवान से अलग हो जाते हैं, विरहित हो जाते हैं, तो हम हमारे जो
क्या हुआ?
वी आर वर्थलेस.
It may appear to be like hand, see that for photos, but it is not having any symptom of it. कभी कभी जिनका हाथ ये नहीं रहता है ना, वो ये पहनते हैं, राइट? पैर को भी पहनते हैं. दिखने में वो ऐसा ही दिखता है, पर वो कुछ काम का नहीं रहता, unless it is attached back to the complete body. Which point you want to share? Or you want to relish yourself? You can share. Huh? Yes. Just pass on the mic. Yes, ठीक है, सुनाइए.
It states that the jiva or the Paramatma merges into the Brahman, this thing. So here also, I mean, I felt like the example is stating the same way only. If we are connected, that means we are merged into the Brahman, then only we have our existence, or else we are not having, or else it is just like a dead hand, so to speak.
So what say every example is telling one principle. It doesn't mean it will reflect every quality in the actual situation. जैसे हर एग्जाम्पल जो होता है, उस एग्जाम्पल का कुछ पॉइंट ऑफ सिमिलैरिटी रहता है. दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज टेलिंग, शो मी द पॉइंट्स ऑफ सिमिलैरिटी एंड द प्रिंसिपल which is told. What is the principle told in this example? That if you are connected to the body or to Lord, then it has value. Then it can do something meaningful. You can do some good work with it. If not, it is not of value. It is not serving God, and it is also not satisfied. It is not showing any life symptom. It is also not getting satisfied. Again, so this is the similarity. Every example cannot be shown for full points of that principle. A simple example. Krishna is compared to a lotus. For what? What is the point of similarity? Krishna's face is compared to a lotus. Why? Beauty. Anything more? Softness. Okay. Attractive, very soft, very soft for touching, and also very pleasing to look. Yes, bro. Shines. Yeah, it's also very shiny. But you can't say that Krishna's every beauty feature is there in the lotus. It is only for this similarity. The examples have a limitation. It is for our understanding. The examples are given. They indicate. इसको शाखा चंद्र न्याय बोलते हैं ना. They indicate what is the true object, what is the true principle. Okay.
Guruji, here one line is that human form is complete manifestation of the consciousness
Correct.
of the living beings.
Hmm.
तो गुरुजी ये जो 8.4 मिलियन स्पीशीज है
Hmm.
उनमें ये जो डेमिगॉड्स है वो भी आते होंगे.
Correct.
तो गुरुजी मतलब मेरा ऐसा अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि उनका कॉन्शियसनेस एटलीस्ट हमारी उतना होगा या हमसे ज्यादा होगा. तो मुझे ये समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है कि
तो वैसा वो भी उनको भी ह्यूमन ही कंसिडर किया जाता है ना.
हाँ क्या.
तो ह्यूमन में भी 4 लाख ग्रेड्स है. I was telling that last class, human is considered as the prafullit, like a flower blossoming. You see, you know, one is considered like a bud. Means bud, matlab pura. You just see some white thing which has come out, and it's covered by that green, है ना, receptacles or whatever. Then slowly वो थोड़ा वो blossom होता है. हाँ? जिस पहला जो था वो लाइफ सिम्टम ही नहीं दिखाता है जैसे प्लांट्स. Okay, next evolved form is animals. They walk, they breathe, they show that life symptoms. Then comes humans. It's not that human is perfect in the meaning that human is the highest. No, the next step is one who has taken to scriptures, one who has understand the purpose of scriptures as service to Supreme Lord. That's the next stage of growth of consciousness. And the highest stage of growth of consciousness is one whose consciousness is fully towards Krishna, pure devotional service. That's considered highest. But what it means here, 8.4 million species, is that human species, among all 8.4 million species, human, when we say it, there are 4 lakh. It's not just one. When we say human, what does it mean? 4 lakh. This 4 lakh is considered superior among all the remaining 8 lakh. In that sense. और वो 4 लाख जो मिल रहा है उसमें जो अगर भक्ति लेंगे तो वो उनसे उनमें भी श्रेष्ठ है. Getting? So demigods, if they don't, they have some God consciousness, but they also are impure. They're not fully pure. Correct? But someone who is in this earthly planet in a human form of life, if he attains pure devotion, so he is considered higher compared to them. Like in that sense. Okay?
4 लाख स्पीशीज है humans के.
ऐसा नहीं, मैंने ऐसा सुना नहीं है. क्योंकि it is all depending on how much a person has done punya, where all the amount of jivas are. Consciousness. As such, jivas are innumerable, infinite. Like some jivas are becoming extinct. Oh, अभी extinct हो जाएंगे. हाँ, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Extinctable, हाँ. हाँ, तो endangered species बोलते हैं उनको. हाँ, मैं वही ढूंढ रहा. तो endangered हो जाएंगे, अभी बचाना है ऐसे. ठीक है. 8.4 million somewhere else they are there, you know, just that we have exploited, we have put them into extinction.
One chance for the Krishna consciousness to do bhakti, to understand what we are. You know, we get only one chance. At the same time, we are saying that there's a 4 lakh grades and so kind of confusing.
One chance in the sense?
It's you get a human form only once, then again
like,
you go into that 84 lakh species thing.
Yeah. So
Right.
human form, see, it is told, इसको आप प्रधानतः समझना चाहिए. It is not to mean that, okay, one life. No, not exactly. Like it's told that if one does punya a lot, then he goes to demigod's body.
Actually,
That is also within human form.
Okay.
Or if someone is in rajoguna, he may get and he has done some amount of punya also. So he will stay in this body, in this world. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha, urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, in this planetary system that is in the Bhuloka, he may take a human body. It's not that one chance means, okay, in the human form as such is considered one. In that sense, it's one chance. Like that. That's why I was telling him also one chance. Humans have the ability to understand what is temporary, what is eternal, what is worthy for pursuing, what is the real meaning. This per understanding, Brahma Jignasa, only humans can. That's the thrust. Okay. So let us proceed. So this example is important to know for your exams also. So finally, Prabhupada says, how can one attain completeness? By connecting back to the Supreme Person. Read this last paragraph. Real completeness.
The completeness of human life can be realized only when one engages in the service of the complete whole. All service in this world, whether social, political, communal, international, or even interplanetary, will remain incomplete until they are doubted with the complete whole. When everything is doubted with the complete whole, the attached parts and parcels also become complete in themselves.
So here one word has come. This word will come many times. Dovetail. किसी ने सुना है? आपने अगर इंजीनियरिंग में फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में वो एक डवटेल जॉइंट बोल के आता है, अगर आपने सुना है तो उधर आता है. क्या है प्रभु कृष्ण? याद नहीं? फाइलिंग करके दिखाते, डवटेल जॉइंट ऐसा होता है, ऐसा फाइलिंग वो लेथ है ना, तो इसमें रहता है, फाउंड्री में कराना पड़ता है. मैकेनिकल ब्रांच का एक साइंस होता है. ठीक है. The point is dovetail. What is dovetail joint? In say suppose in movement of some fluids, अगर कुछ liquid flow हो रहा है, so there are different type of joints to divert the direction. There is T joint, there is L joint, there is U joint. So dovetail joint में क्या होता है? जिस दिशा में आ रहा है उसका practically opposite दिशा में आप वापस भेज दोगे. Dovetail. समझ आ रहा? So that's how the joint is made. Dovetail joint. So why Prabhupada is using? You see, what is the meaning given by using this word? Until they are dovetailed with the complete whole. उस दिशा में उसको घुमाना. क्या घुमाना? The services which one does. Until they are dovetailed with the complete whole, it will remain incomplete. Like say suppose this point will come in the next purport more wonderfully. Prabhupada will describe this. Someone wants to do something social, political, or communal, or international, anything. Unless you dovetail with the complete, or to make it in a more simpler word, anything one wants to achieve in this world, he should attest it with the plan of law. He should bring God in the center. Unless one brings God in the center, any effort one does will not be fully satisfying. Like say, suppose now people are talking so much about safety. Is it not? So many crimes are happening around. So much of insecurity. People are doing morcha. हर जगह पे हो रहा है. हर एक स्टेट में कुछ ना कुछ तो हो ही रहा है कि नहीं? नेशनल लेवल में हो, सोसाइटी लेवल में हो, या फिर कुछ ट्राइब्स, कास्ट, ये वो हर एक बोलता है हमें ये शोषण हो रहा है, ये शोषण है. एंड व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन ऑफर्ड? They are just fighting. They say we want equal rights, but you give equal rights, what will they do? They will exploit. So unless one brings God in the center, God in picture, unless they appreciate and understand everything belongs to God, that's the next sloka. You see. So Ishopanishad starts from this point. You want to live happily in this world? First point, accept that God is the controller. Anyone who wants to live happy in this world, Ishopanishad's first instruction is. So that's why Ishopanishad begins from anyone in this world. It doesn't require some great qualification. Like that's why I was telling, other scriptures have some prerequisite qualifications. But Ishopanishad, it takes a person from very material consciousness and it takes one to the higher, as much as very close to bhakti. There are some important conceptions of bhakti. Okay, so that will be shown from mantra 1. So we will enter now mantra 1. So in invocation, what we saw were these principles. Let me just show that again. So we saw Purnam Adaha. Complete realization of absolute truth is personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we say Supreme Personality of Godhead, that means Bhagavan. ये शब्द याद रखिए. Then Purnam Idam. The Lord's potencies are perfect and complete. This world is Lord's potency. It is perfect and complete. Then Prabhupada talked about how human life is a perfect facility to realize completeness. How we are in illusion thinking we are happy. We will become happy if only we achieve this kind of advancement, this level of happiness. No, that is illusion, Prabhupada says. As much as that example, unless we are connected to God, we will always be dissatisfied. Like that hand, that example. Then real completeness issue. How does one attain real completeness? Dovetailed with all our services. We serve that Supreme Lord. We dovetail our activities with that Supreme Person. So that's why now in the mantra 1, it describes why we have to dovetail with that Supreme Person. It starts from there. So this mantra 1 is a very famous verse. So famous that the name of Upanishad became on that verse only. तो द ईशावास्य उपनिषद ऐसे भी बोलते हैं इसको, या फिर ईशोपनिषद. क्यों? क्योंकि ये मंत्र ऐसे ही शुरू होता है, ईशावास्यम, इसलिए ईशोपनिषद. ईश मतलब क्या है? जेनरिक नेम है, कंट्रोलर. ईश, ईश्वर बोलते हैं, है ना. शिव जी को ईश्वर भी बोलते हैं ना. ईश्वर मतलब इट्स अ वेरी जेनरिक नेम, कंट्रोलर, है ना. ऐसे ईशा मतलब काउंटर. व्हाट हैपेंड? For a long time, I was having this understanding Parameshwar matlab Shiv Ji. Yeah, matlab बहुत deeply understanding है. This is a very generic name. It's unless you understand from Gita and Bhagavatam, where Krishna himself tells, I am Ishvara, I am the controller. So let's enter mantra 1. We will see word to word meaning and all. We'll do it together. We have already seen this. We'll do together. Ishavāsyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magrada kasya svidhanam. So this mantra, it tells an important principle. That principle is called Ishavasya principle. It's called Ishavasya principle. वो प्रिंसिपल क्या है वो हम समझेंगे. इट्स नथिंग बट द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस वर्स. प्लीज रीड द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्स ट्रांसलेशन.
Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong.
So it is told that every day of Brahma has 14 manus. एक मनु का पीरियड, उसका शासन का पीरियड को मनवंतर कहते हैं, है ना. जैसे कोई भी मिनिस्टर, प्राइम मिनिस्टर 5 साल के लिए रहता है ना, उसका पीरियड. ऐसे मनु का पीरियड को मनवंतर कहते हैं, है ना. तो पहला मनु था, किसी को पता है नाम? नो नो, ही वाज नॉट मनु. वो मनु के पुत्र थे, वो इक्ष्वाकु. यस. तो पहला मनु कौन था? स्वयं भुव मनु के नाम. और अभी कौन सा मनु है पता है? कौन सा नंबर का है टोटल आउट ऑफ 14? 7. अगर आप वेद के यज्ञों में कई संस्कार में बैठते हो तो वहां पे वो बोलते हैं, अद्य ब्राह्मणे द्वितीय परार्धे श्वेत वराह कल्पे. सुना है आपने ऐसा कुछ? इनिशिएशन सभी यज्ञों में बोलते हैं, संकल्प करते हैं ना उस समय. वैवस्वताख्य मन्वंतरे हाँ, वैवस्वत नामक मनु है, इसलिए वैवस्वताख्य मनवंतरे. Why I am telling is there is the first Manu, Swayambhuva Manu. He spoke these shlokas. The shlokas we are seeing, he spoke these shlokas. वो अपने पूरा शासन होने बाद रिटायरमेंट लिया उसने, क्योंकि पहले से वो भक्ति था, भगवान की भक्ति सेवा के कारण ही वो उसने शासन किया था. Then he retired, then he went to a forest and he was doing tapasya. While doing tapasya, he chanted these verses. In these verses. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, these verses. Not all, first few verses are coming. Okay? But it is very famous that he chanted these verses. These verses are also spoken by one very famous Brahmana by name Dadhyan. Like, हम बोल रहे थे ना, श्रुति जो होता है एक ऋषि को रिवील होता है और वो बोल, जैसे गायत्री मंत्र, उसको तो विश्वामित्र जी ने जगत को दिया क्योंकि उनको वो प्रकट हुआ था, है ना. जो फेमस गायत्री जो बोलते हैं लोग, हाँ, जो चलाते टेप रिकॉर्ड में, वो एक्चुअली कहाँ से मिला था? विश्वामित्र. So Rishi Vishwamitra Prabhu, whenever we see him, we should remember such a great benefactor for the world. Yeah, you should remember. So ऐसे ऋषि मंत्र प्रदान करते हैं जगत, वेदों के मंत्र. तो ऐसे ही एक ऋषि नाम है, दध्यन नामक ऋषि ने ये ईशोपनिषद के मंत्रों को प्रकट किया. ऐसे इसका हिस्ट्री है. तो ईशोपनिषद के बारे में, तो ईशोपनिषद इज पार्ट ऑफ विच वेदा? वी हैड सीन ना, यजुर्वेद. तो यजुर्वेद में दो भाग हैं, कृष्ण शुक्ल यजुर्वेद. इसका स्टोरी है, विल नॉट गो टू दैट. कृष्ण यजुर्वेद, शुक्ल यजुर्वेद, ऐसा दो है. कृष्ण शुक्ल, कृष्ण पक्ष शुक्ल पक्ष बोलते हैं ना. कृष्ण पक्ष मतलब जहाँ पे चंद्र जो है वो पूर्णिमा से अमावस्या तक हो जाता है. कृष्ण मतलब काले, काला. शुक्ल मतलब वाइट. शुक्लाम भरधरम विष्णु. गणेश जी का नहीं है वो, विष्णु का है. हमेशा लोग सब उसको गणेश जी के लिए बोलते. ठीक है, गणेश जी भी प्रसन्न होते हैं विष्णु के स्तुति से. विष्णु स्तुति करेंगे तो गणेश बहुत प्रसन्न हो. तो शुक्ल मतलब व्हाइट. सो देयर आर टू विभागस विद इन यजुर्वेद, कृष्ण शुक्ल. तो शुक्ल यजुर्वेद का लास्ट पार्ट में ईशोपनिषद आता, वहां पे इसको रिवील किया है. तो प्रभुपाद विल टेल इट आल्सो. शुक्ल यजुर्वेद का वाजसनेय संहिता, that samhita also is there. So Ishavasam, so let's go to this verse and see what it means. The word says Ishavasyam. Huh? See word to word meaning. What is the meaning of Ishavasyam? Controlled by the Lord. So if someone controls something, that means he owns it. है ना. एक और शब्द मीनिंग ये कर सकते हैं कि ईश का आवास. आवास सुना है? मतलब आवास मतलब आवाज नहीं, आवास या निवास, वास. ही स्टेज देयर ना, रेसिडेंस. जैसे श्रीनिवास, श्रीनिवास मतलब लक्ष्मी के घर. कौन है? विष्णु जी. भगवान का नाम है श्रीनिवास क्योंकि लक्ष्मी के घर है वे. लक्ष्मी रहती है उनके पास, तो इसलिए लक्ष्मी के घर कौन? विष्णु. ऐसा जगन निवास, ऐसे भी बोल, जगत का निवास वो भगवान. तो श्रीनिवास, ईशावास मतलब ये ईश का घर है. द होम इज ऑफ ईशा. सुप्रीम लॉर्ड इज कॉल्ड इन द उपनिषद एज ईश. इट डजंट टेल कृष्णा, माधव. ऐसे कहीं पे भी आपको श्लोक पूरे ईशोपनिषद में नाम नहीं मिलेंगे. क्यों? मैं आगे इसको समझाऊंगा, क्योंकि the description will come in Prabhupada's purport on. So this world is Isha's Avas. ये उनका निवास स्थान है. It's a home of Isha. It is controlled by Isha. It is owned by Isha. Everywhere you can find Isha in some way or other. His influence is there. His control is there. है ना. घर मतलब वो ओनर का कंट्रोल में रहता है कि नहीं. तो इसीलिए क्या क्या कंट्रोल में है, चाहे वो निर्जीव वस्तु हो, सजीव वस्तु, सर्वम जगत्याम जगत, सब कुछ उनके कंट्रोल में. तो पहले 2 लाइन में ये प्रिंसिपल समझा दिया। ये पहला पॉइंट है ईशावास्य प्रिंसिपल। क्या है? एवरीथिंग इन दिस वर्ल्ड, बी इट लिविंग, that is animate, which shows movements like animal animation, you know, or inanimate, मतलब जो ऐसे movements नहीं दिखाता है। Everything is what? Controlled and I also told owned, है ना? इसीलिए देखिए पहला लाइन में ट्रांसलेशन में प्रभुपाद कैसे करते हैं? Everything animate or inanimate that is within this universe is controlled. That is आवास का एक मीनिंग है कंट्रोल, दूसरा मीनिंग है owned, है ना? Home. Now then third line says तेना त्यक्तेन भुंजीथा। ठीक है, सब कुछ भगवान का है, तो हम क्या करें इधर? हमारे लिए कुछ है कि नहीं इधर? हम इधर कुछ पाएंगे कि नहीं? हम दूसरे के घर में आके हमें कुछ मिलेगा ही नहीं। We'll also be so yes, though everything is God's, he has kept something for each person, and that is called as quota. है ना? अरे मराठा का कोटा कुछ तो फाइट हो रहा है। महाराष्ट्र में बहुत फेमस है। हाँ, हिस्सा, that's the word. Hissa, whatever. Huh? So the quota means it is for this. You can't take it. You know, वो देंगे नहीं, है ना? सीट्स में हो, मेडिकल, इंजीनियरिंग, सरकारी, जो भी है, जहाँ पे भी रिजर्वेशन है, कोटा है, दूसरे वहां पे अपने पैर नहीं रख सकते। करेक्ट? तो सब एवरीवन हैज अ कोटा। यू डोंट फील दैट ओ हमें कोटा नहीं तो हमें बहुत स्ट्रगल करना पड़ेगा। नहीं, एवरीवन हैज अ कोटा। In what? In the creation of Lord. Not in one particular job or in education or what he knows more than. So knowing this, what one should do? Ma gridha. Gridha matlab देखिए word to word meaning. You have the books, no? Huh? Gain. गृधा मतलब बेसिकली छीनना, छीना चट्टी बोलते हैं ना, ऐसा नहीं। हर एक के लिए भगवान कुछ दिए हैं, तो दूसरे के कोटा को हमें छीनना नहीं। क्यों? क्योंकि वो दूसरे के लिए रखा है। किन्होंने रखा है? भगवान ने। देखो ये हर एक जो पार्ट है ना, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो ये ईशावास्य जो ये है उपनिषद प्रिंसिपल जो है, इसमें 3 पार्ट्स है। या 3 parts. That's whole translation only I have put it in 3 parts. Everything animate and inanimate is owned and controlled by Lord. पहला 2 लाइन ये बोलते। Third line tells, what is the third line, which is second point here? तेना त्यक्तेन, our quote. Simple, very simple. Third one, third point. So one should not accept other things, knowing too well whom. This is important. There are some people who will only talk about 2 and 3. बोलते हैं ना आजकल, है ना? पर क्या उससे कुछ मिलेगा उनको शांति या नो? एवरीवन फाइट्स फॉर दैट, एवरीवन वांट्स इक्वल राइट्स, इक्वल, बट ऐसा क्या? Prabhupada will talk about this philosophy. It's called communism. This whole psychology is called communism, socialism. The whole countries were run on this, and the maximum corruption was seen there on. Though it looks very nice, everyone should have equal rights, quota, you know, no one should take over others' quota. But it's very utopian. ऐसा नहीं होता है. Unless one accepts the first thing, he will not be able to truly gain benefit from second hand. So every point in this Ishavasya Tattva is important. So the first one, keval someone understood only first one. He did not consider second and third. That also is not right. अरे सब कुछ भगवान का है, चलो सब कुछ मेरा ही है। नहीं नहीं, जैसे एक बार प्रभुपाद के पास वो, दिस फेमस, you know this. Once one person came to Prabhupada and complained that your devotees, disciples, they steal things from my garden. So when they were asked, they told, no, Prabhupada, everything is Krishna's. That person he's a thief. He is not giving to Krishna. Is it not? So though Krishna is the ultimate proprietor, still he has kept under the care of different people something. We should respect that. है ना? तो Unless one accepts this, it cannot be truly practiced. So देखो हर एक चीज कितना important है principle है ना. So one should accept and proper told, okay, even though it's his own, but you ask him and with his permission use it. Like so, there are many interesting incidents on this, but we will go it. Read the purport. Let's start the purport. So all these three things are important. Again, I am saying, first one is everything is controlled and owned by the Supreme Lord. Second is one should accept for him, kept by him. He has kept it. Then third one, no, don't accept other, don't encroach. आजकल वो शब्द बहुत है. Right now, let's go to purpose. So Prabhupada first will establish one thing. First he will go to the first वो principle के पहला point को समझाएंगे, then second को समझाएंगे, third को. तो वो systematically जाते हैं बहुत. तो purport के पहले भाग में first he will explain how where it is told, why at all I should accept that God is the ultimate proprietor and controller. So Prabhupada will talk about it is told in Vedic knowledge. Sometimes like we go to a property, it is told, it is there written, this property belongs to so and so. What else is written? Prosecuted. Those who encroach will be prosecuted. ऐसा पार्टी लगा देते हैं कि नहीं. तो इस जगत के लिए पार्टी कहाँ लगाया है? लगाया है शास्त्रों में. समझे? तो Prabhupada will explain that. Read.
Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes down through the perfect disciplic succession of spiritual masters, beginning with the Lord himself. Since he spoke the first word of Vedic knowledge, the source of this knowledge is transcendental. The words spoken by the Lord are called Apurusheya.
Paurusheya.
Apurusheya,
Correct.
which indicates that they are not delivered by any mundane person.
So what is Apaurusheya?
Transcendental.
Not from person of this mundane person.
Mundane.
अपौरुष इस जगत के पुरुष का नहीं है, उसका ज्ञान नहीं. Continue.
A living being who lives in the mundane world has four defects. He is certain to commit mistakes. He is subject to illusion. He has a propensity to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. No one with these four imperfections can deliver perfect knowledge. The Vedas are not produced by such an imperfect creature. Vedic knowledge was originally imparted by the Lord into the heart of Brahma, the first created living being. And Brahma, in his turn, disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples, who have handed it down through history.
So Prabhupada is telling some things from introduction. So as a beginning, setting the stage. Continue. Since the Lord is
Purnam, all perfect, there is no possibility of his being subjected to the laws of material nature, which he controls. However, both the living entities and inanimate objects are controlled by the laws of nature and ultimately by the Lord's potency. This Ishopanishad is part of Yajurveda, and consequently it contains information concerning the proprietorship of all things existing within the universe.
information concerning proprietorship. Proprietor. देखते हैं हम हर दुकान proprietor ऐसे लिखते हैं. Proprietor, supreme proprietor is supreme. Where it is told? Yajurveda. So Prabhupada has established the authority for that. Now he will describe how do we understand the Supreme Lord Krishna Bhagavan as proprietor. For that he will quote Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So what we saw now first is what is Vedic knowledge? Who spoke it? How it has come to us? If it was spoken by God, how it came to us? Because it was spoken to Brahma, then in that same lineage it came in Parampara. Now he will go to describe how Lord is proprietor of everything. So in Bhagavad Gita, there is this chapter called, 7th chapter called as Knowledge of Absolute. Parat Parajnana. ज्ञान विज्ञान योग कहते हैं उसको, गीता के 7वें अध्याय। तो 7वें अध्याय में भगवान डिस्क्राइब्स many interesting aspects. At first he starts telling how this world is made by me, is dependent on me, and like that famous shloka mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhana, वो इसी में आता है। उसके बाद में बोलते हैं जो फिर भी सब कुछ मैं ही कंट्रोल कर रहा हूँ, मेरा ही I am holding everything practically. Sutre mani gana iva, like a thread which holds the monies, money and pearl. But still people, they will not see me. They will not come to me because they are controlled by the modes he describes. And it is very difficult for one to rise above it. Daivi esha gunamayi. Only those who surrender to me can only rise above it. And then further description. So before he describes all that part, first thing he says is how I am the controller or owner of everything. There are 3 shlokas told for it. In fact, Prabhupada quotes here 2, but that describes that. So he says, maybe I'll directly show the shlokas and see that. Okay. Very famous verses. Bhumirapo. वो जो श्लोक है वो यहाँ पे ही आता है. So this is 7.4. Okay, share. Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 4th verse. Read translation directly. Earth, water.
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these 8 constitute my separate material energies.
So Krishna told, I have one energy called material energy, and that material energy is these 8 elements. 24 elements come from this 8 only. Anyway, that's a detail. But these 8 make this material energy. Then he tells, I have another energy. It's called Jiva Bhuta. Read this. Besides this,
O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material world, inferior nature.
Inferior. So there is another energy which is superior to which energy? Material energy. Material energy में क्या थे? 8. Earth, water, fire. और इसके भी ऊपर क्या है? This energy which is living entities, jivas. Because living jivas can manipulate matter, they can produce something, but sometimes they get controlled by it. That's the sorry state of affairs. That's their unnatural. But point is, they have the ability to manipulate matter. So इसीलिए उनको superior कहते हैं. ये है जीवा शक्ति. Now interesting. Next shloka is most important. Krishna says, read this, Prabhu.
All created beings have their source in these 2 natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the delusion.
So in this world, there are only 2 type of elements. Matter, spirit. Pattar, matter. Pani, matter. Paid. मैटर प्लस स्पिरिट. हम मैटर प्लस स्पिरिट. स्पिरिट को हम देख नहीं सकते क्योंकि वो मैटर से भी सूक्ष्म रहता है ना. सो इस जगत में जो भी देखते हैं हम, वो सब कुछ इधर मैटर से बना है या स्पिरिट है मैटर के अंदर. तो अगर ये दोनों भगवान बोल रहे कि मेरे शक्ति, तो बचा क्या इस जगत में? ये पूरा जगत ही उनका हो गया ना. सो प्रभुपाद एक्सप्लेन्स दिस लॉजिक हियर. Getting? So read Lord's proprietorship.
The Lord's proprietorship over everything within the universe is confirmed in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 7.45, where para and apara prakriti are discussed.
So remember this shabda. Para, apara. Para matlab kya hai? Apara matlab kya hai? Prabhupada will tell. Yes, read.
The elements of nature, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego all belong to the Lord's inferior material energy, apara shakti.
So
prakriti.
What is apara prakriti? Material elements. Apara. Para matlab जो परे है बोलते हैं ना, मतलब बड़े हैं या उच्च है। अपरा मतलब वो नहीं है, नीचे। तो अपरा मतलब भौतिक चीज, परा मतलब spiritual चीज। Easy to remember like that. Okay. Now next continue, bro.
Whereas the living beings, the organic energy is his superior energy, para prakriti. Both of these prakritis or energies are emanations from the Lord, and ultimately he is the controller of of everything that exists. There is nothing in the universe that does not belong to either the para or para prakriti.
Ah.
Therefore, everything is the property of the supreme being.
Hence proof. Getting? So you see, very interesting you note, in all these purports, Prabhupada will quote either Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad. Because he told in introduction already. They have said that everything has been very systematically told. Now they have laid it on ahead of it. So whole Upanishads or any Vedic knowledge you should understand through Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad. उपनिषद में कुछ चीज बोला होगा, बट भगवत गीता में उसका पूर्ण विवरण वहां पे रहेगा। यहाँ पे तो बोला है बस ईशावास्यम इदम सर्वम, ये कैसे समझे? भगवत गीता में डिटेल्स समझ आ रहा है? So like this Prabhupada will explain that. So how it was explained, how it is explained that everything is owned by Lord? Yes, Prabhupada. Correct. हाँ. Yes, that's the way Prabhupada said. Now next objection may come. Prabhupada will himself. So you see, if you say that God lives here, in any house someone lives, you should be able to see him, na? If you say this house belongs to some Mishra ji, तो मिश्रा जी उस घर में दिखना चाहिए ना, वो दिखेंगे ना, बाहर रहेंगे तो अगर हम जाएंगे तो दिखेंगे। अगर वो दिखते ही नहीं तो वो कैसे ओनर बन सकते, मतलब ऐसा कुछ बोल सकता है ना? कहाँ है वो ओनर? बोलते हैं ये इसका है, इसका दिखते ही नहीं है वो ओनर। तो ओनर तो दिखना चाहिए, राइट? करेक्ट ना? So for that Prabhupada naturally explains further part. How is it that we don't see God and yet we have to say that God is the owner? समझदार बात। Come. Someone else would like to take reading? Just reading so that others also. Thank you. He is reading well, of course. Question? We'll read. Oh, okay, tell. उनको क्वेश्चन है। हाँ,
गुरु जी पिछले पैराग्राफ में एनर्जी को इन्फीरियर एनर्जी बोला गया है,
करेक्ट
तो वो एक्सटर्नल एनर्जी है।
करेक्ट।
और फिर बाद में जो सुपीरियर एनर्जी को ह्यूमन बींग्स
यस,
ह्यूमंस का है, पर ह्यूमंस तो तटस्थ शक्ति में आता है,
हाँ हाँ।
तो फिर वो सुपीरियर कैसे हो?
मतलब मटेरियल से स्पिरिचुअल, ये एक्चुअली तटस्थ शक्ति जो है वो स्पिरिचुअल नेचर्ड है। उसका नेचर क्या है? स्पिरिचुअल, क्योंकि ओरिजिनली उसका पोजीशन कहाँ है? स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी में। स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी जो है वो इस मटेरियल एनर्जी में नहीं दिखता है अनलेस इट डिसेंड्स। लाइक भगवान का मूर्ति हो या भगवान खुद अवतार बन के आते हैं, वो अलग ही बात। तो तटस्थ शक्ति जो है वो मटेरियल एनर्जी से it is higher placed compared to material energy, it is superior in that sense. Give him mic.
If everything emanates from the Lord himself, and if jivas are transcendental, then that matter coming from him also has to be transcendental at the same time. So then how do we differentiate?
Its nature is very different. इसके ऊपर तो बहुत एनालाइज किया है हमारे आचार्य। हाउ सी एवरीथिंग, लाइक we say there is spiritual energy, जीवस come from supreme lord, their nature is spiritual in nature, but जो मैटर है उसका गुण तो विपरीत है। वो अशाश्वत है, आनंद नहीं देता है ना? वो हमेशा भगवान के ज्ञान के विहीन होता है। पर जीव जो है वो, उसको तो वो गुण है सच्चित आनंद एक्चुअली ओरिजिनली, बट वो भूल चुका है। तो हाउ इज इट दैट matter which has opposite nature comes from God who is spiritual nature? Is a question. Is it like this one? A good question. It comes in Bhagavatam 10th canto. Very important question. For this, there are many varieties of ways it is explained. One way it is explained, which is very easy to understand. See, there is sun. Sun से क्या आता है? Sunshine आता है. Sun rays आता है. Sun rays. So sun rays are coming from sun. Sun rays have some quality of sun. Agreed? They have some light, some heat. Sun has it in full, but sun rays have in little amount. What are sun rays in our context? Jivas. Sun is Supreme Lord. Now, sun, when it reflects on water, sun's image is seen on the water or on a mirror. But do you feel the energy of sun there? It only appears to be of sun. If there was no sun, would there be that image? No. The reflection of sun, though it is coming from sun, it looks like sun, its qualities are not like sun. Similarly, now you only complete. Yes, it's a reflection. That's why you see now Bhagavad Gita go urdhvamulam adhashakam ashwattam prahuravyayam. It's a perverted reflection. वो भी बोलते हैं, है ना? सुनते हैं ना? So the world is temporal. The world is coming, material world I'm talking. It is coming from the Supreme Lord. Why at all there was a need to create material world? It was because Jivas desired it. Na? Otherwise, Lord would not have made that one. So it is for a circumstantial reason. And that reason is always there in this existence. That some want to be separate. Okay. On this, the explanation is given. How is it that it comes from him and yet the nature is different? Anyway, so let us proceed. So the question we were discussing, if someone is called as the owner of house, that owner should be seen in that house. But God is not seen in this creation to our eyes. कैसे हम बोल सकते हैं is the owner? Interesting question. Let's see how Prabhupada says. Because क्या हो गया?
Because the Supreme Being, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the complete person. He has complete and perfect intelligence to adjust everything by means of his different potencies. The Supreme Being is often compared to fire, and everything organic and inorganic is compared to the heat and the light of the fire. Just as fire distributes energy in the form of heat and light, the Lord displays his energy in different ways. He thus remains the ultimate controller, sustainer, and dictator of everything. He is the possessor of all potencies, the knower of everything, and the benefactor of everything. He is full of inconceivable opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation.
Yes. So this example is given that in a place you have a lamp. It is at one place, but its influence can be seen in that whole room. Its influence can be seen in that whole room. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is situated at spiritual world. Because we are talking about Bhagavan. Bhagavan means spiritual world. Paramatma or Brahman matlab ye bhautik jagat. But Bhagavan matlab spiritual world. So Bhagavan is at spiritual world. Like lamp. From there he distributes his energy. His influence can be seen in this world just like heat and light of the fire. ये पुराण का बहुत फेमस एग्जाम्पल. एकदेश स्थितस्याग्नेर ज्योत्स्ना विस्तारिणी यथा. वहां पे स्थित होके वो ज्योति और ज्योत्स्ना विस्तारिणी यथा, और जो उष्ण है, प्रकाश और उष्ण जो है उसको विस्तार करता है, ऐसे ही सिमिलरली God who is present in spiritual world, he maintains this world by his energies. He maintains this world by his energy. It's not that only if you see someone, then only you have to accept him as owner. No. Sometimes the owner hardly visits that place. He runs it through his people, his energies, like that. So Prabhupada is explaining it like this. Okay. So now further description is about the quota, the third point. Sorry, the second point of Ishavasya Tattva. It's about how God keeps aside for everyone something. So what was described is everything is controlled and owned by the Supreme Lord. The second point in Ishavasya Tattva is how everyone has to accept only one's quota. उसके बारे में अभी Prabhupada will discuss. One should
therefore be intelligent enough to know that except for the Lord, no one is proprietor of anything. One should accept only those things that are assigned by the Lord at his quota. The cow, for instance, gives milk, but she does not drink that milk. She eats grass and straw, and her milk is designated as a food for human beings. Such is the arrangement of the Lord. Thus, we should be satisfied with those things he has kindly set aside for us. And we should always consider to whom those things we possess actually belong.
So first of all, even if we have something, we should know it is actually Supreme Lord's. Even if we own a property, we should know we are always tenant only. Because how long we can hold it? Bro? How much we can buy or how much we can hold it. The property remains. We think that we own it. After some time, we give it to someone and go. वो वहीं पे रहता है और वो भी एक समय पे नाश हो जाता है. Say we bought a plot of land. Father bought it. How long he will stay in that house? He will sign it for his sons and he will go. And his son, he uses it and then he will sign it for his one and go. So that remains. People come, they think that, oh, this belongs to me, this belongs to me. They keep going. So this world is a great comedy, actually. The Shastras describe like that. So the point is, one should use what is given to him as given by God. That's the essence. So in Upadeshamrita, you have already heard about Atyahar, Prayas, which also talks similar principle. So which talks about not to endeavor. That's Prayas. Atyahar matlab? Accumulation. Overeating, over accumulation. Overeating तो पहले बोल दिए ना already. फिर से क्यों बोलेंगे? Overeating पहले बोला गया था कहाँ? उसी जिह्वा वेगम, उदर वेगम, दो जगह पे उन्होंने समझाया था. तो यहाँ पे ओवर एक्यूमुलेशन. आहार बोला गया है, पर आहार मतलब सबका आहार है. आंखों का आहार भी होता है, जिह्वा का आहार भी होता है, कान का आहार भी होता है. समझ आ रहा है? तो हर आहार का जब एक्सेस करेंगे तो वो भक्ति के लिए बाधक बन जाएगा. षड्विधम भक्ति विनश्यति. करेक्ट, विनश्यति वहां पे लिखा था. सो क्या हुआ? ठीक है जो भी हो. So point is the same principle is explained in much basic level at Ishopanishad. So Ishavasya Tattva is nothing but an entry into bhakti. आप समझो कि सब कुछ भगवान का है, तो आपको जो दिया गया है वो भी भगवान का है. उसको सही तरह से उपयोग, दूसरों का मत लो. ठीक है, भक्ति के लिए फर्स्ट एक्सेप्ट करना होता है कि नहीं. सो इट्स लाइक अ एंट्री, doorway to bhakti. And it is very interesting that you can relate this with any new person also. You can explain him how ultimately everything is owned by a person or a God is behind everything. Even if you don't describe exact features, personal features of God, even if people don't agree on it, at least they should accept on this principle. So Prabhupada will explain now quota. ये quota जो है, he will explain in species, he will explain individually, he will explain nationally in society. Many ways so quota can be there. As an individual, I am a person, I have certain things I can use. As a species, humans, we are given something. We should not take other animals, living beings quota. समझ आ रहा है? As a as a people of certain place, we are given something. We should not encroach on other property. समझ आ रहा है? हर एक लेवल पे अभी प्रभुपाद एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. अभी एग्जांपल दिया उन्होंने cow. Cow gives milk, so much milk, more than what even the child calf needs. For longer time she gives. Is it? So that is for humans. Humans can take benefit of. That's the best way you can get nourished also. Not by killing the cow, but drinking the milk of the cow. So Prabhupada tells, such is the arrangement of Lord. Now he will tell on earth. On earth, how these natural resources are also set aside as quota. Once Srila Prabhupada was approached by a glass merchant. This happened in Kanpur, I think. So ये एक merchant था, व्यापारी था, very rich person, but very pious man. So स्वामी जी, आपने बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो. I'm very very happy to see such a nice saint traveling and teaching whole world. So he comes and does pranam. Srila Prabhupada asks him, so what do you do? And he tells, I am a glass merchant. So how do you make glass? So I make glass by sand available in world. So you are a thief. Prabhupada tells directly, you are a thief. So he tells Swamiji, what is this? I give donation to temple. I give, ठाकुर जी को बहुत कुछ मैं दान देता हूँ, वृंदावन जाता हूँ, इधर जाता हूँ. ठीक है, आप छोटे चोर हो आप, पर हो चोर. कैसे? वो पूछने लगे. प्रॉपर एक्सप्लेन ईशावास्य श्लोक. तो आप जो कमाते हो वो किसके ऊपर निर्भर है? रेत पे, मिट्टी पे. वो किसने बनाया? वो तूने तो नहीं बनाया. जो ऑलरेडी था, किसी और का था, किसी और का बनाया हुआ था, उसको लेके तुम कमा रहे हो. तो चोर है ना. चोर मतलब दूसरे के संपत्ति को अपना धन बना दे. चाहे आप क्या बोलते हैं, जेम्स चोरी करने वाला नहीं हो, बट खीरा चोर हो सकता. हीरा नहीं, खीरा जो भी है. तो वो खीरा चोर कुछ तो बोलते हैं ना ऐसे. हाँ. So point is, unless one acknowledges that everything belongs to God, he will always remain a thief. You may be surprised, but in Bhagavad Gita this is told. Stena eva saha. I will show that shloka maybe. बापरे. हाँ, exact आ गया. This is third chapter. इष्टान भोगान हि वो देव दास्यन्ते यज्ञ भाविता तैर्दत्तान अप्रदायेभ्यो यो भुंक्ते स्तेन एव स. स्तेन मतलब thief. देखो इधर आ रहा है. स्तेन मतलब thief. Let's read word to word meaning.
In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief.
So here, before this and after this also, Prabhupada will, Krishna will tell demigods are my representatives. So ultimately, everything is given by Lord only, through demigods. He doesn't personally do, he do it through devatas. So if one doesn't offer to the Supreme Lord, if one doesn't at least understand, हाँ सब कुछ भगवान का है, तो वो क्या बनता है? चोर बनता. श्लोक में इतना साफ, ये सर्टनली है थी. और अगर प्रॉपर फेमस स्टेटमेंट, हाउ कैन थीव्स बी एवर पीसफुल? They will always quarrel, because at first place they are enjoying someone else's property. ये पहला चीज उन्होंने गलती. और जितना भी चोरी करने बाद आप प्रामाणिक रहना चाहिए, दूसरों को चोट नहीं पहुंचना चाहिए, सबको इक्वल राइट्स होना चाहिए, ये तो चोरों का क्या बोलते हो, honesty among thieves बोलते हैं. How can there be any honesty among thieves? It will only be circumstantial, है ना. जैसे पंचतंत्र का एक स्टोरी आता है. एक शेर ने शिकार किया था. It had hunted an animal and it was about to eat. A jackal comes. You know, this one, a jackal comes and he tells to the share that, "Hey, lion, huh? I'm telling, sorry, lion, Simha tha wo. You have actually strived so much. Actually, I saw that on that place there is one more big lion which is challenging your authority. You should go and first fight against that lion and come here. Until then, I will safeguard it. I am your dear friend. I will safeguard it. Don't worry." So it goes there. By the time he comes, he eats some part of it and then he goes. So the point is, a thief can never be honest. So no matter how much changes in the laws of the nature, the laws of country people make, unless they understand, we have to be subordinate to God, follow the laws of God, there cannot be a situation of peace. So Prabhupada will explain that here. Let us read it. कहाँ गए हम? अच्छा, इसमें थे ना, डॉक्यूमेंट में. Yes, example of quota. Yeah, take for example.
Take, for example, our dwelling, which is made of earth, wood, stone, iron, cement, and so many other material things. If we think in terms of Upanishad, we must know that we cannot produce any of these building material ourselves. We can simply bring them together and transform them into different shapes by our labor. A laborer cannot claim to be a proprietor of things just because he has worked hard to manufacture
It's
it.
interesting. Because I worked hard to make it, I can't say that I am the owner. It is actually someone else's. I'm working for it. A laborer cannot claim to be proprietor. So now Prabhupada will go to actual social scenario. And you see, the situation in world is never new. In material world it's not new. The forms of it may change. Like Prabhupada's time, he's writing this at the time of Second World War, I had told, na? And that time there was Second World War just had ended. 1944-45, Prabhupada starts Back to Godhead magazine, and these are printed that. Again, 1952, he restarts. He could not continue after that. So again, he continues from wherever he had. So that time there was intense quarrel between East and the Soviet and America. That the polarization had happened. So Soviet was communistic. Russia was communistic. They had a philosophy of world. And America was capitalistic. Even now also heavily. Many countries are capitalistic. So they had a philosophy of world. Prabhupada will talk about what is capitalism, what is communism, what are the faults in it. Okay, so maybe I'll give a little introduction about that. You can add because you all will also know more about it. So you see, what are these philosophies? They are a way to organize the society. कैसे जीवन जीना चाहिए इस जगत में? तो capitalism says, see, in this world, whoever has good talents, whoever works hard, he achieves something and he comes up, he prospers. Whoever works hard, he has the abilities, he works hard and he achieves success. He will get more wealth, he will get more facilities. This is capitalism. जिसके पास ज्यादा कैपिटल है वो प्रॉस्पर होगा. सही है ना? On the other side, communism मतलब अरे सबको एक ही अमाउंट का वेल्थ हो, फैसिलिटीज हो, राइट्स हो देना चाहिए. चाहे कितना भी टैलेंटेड हो एक व्यक्ति या चाहे कितना भी बदतर हो एक व्यक्ति इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्वालिटीज और क्वालिफिकेशंस और एबिलिटीज, सबको एक ही इतना ही हर एक का सैलरी है, फैसिलिटीज है, कंफर्ट्स, इक्वल राइट्स. everyone should get it. Socialism, communism, ऐसे बोलते हैं. सुना है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है. पहले में भी क्या गलती है, सही है. जिसका सामर्थ्य है वो विजयी होगा, पर जिसका सामर्थ्य नहीं है, what will happen to them? There is a lot of exploitation can happen. There is a lot of competition can happen to rise above, sometimes in very ugly ways. And most of the time it happens. Yeah? Cutthroat competition, that pressure. Na? So because of which so much of bad things may occur. Crime, many things. On the other side, communism, ये तो अच्छा, इसमें कुछ गलती हो ही नहीं सकता, इसमें है ही नहीं. Anybody can guess what could be fault in communism? Lazy बन जाएगा. Yes. Please give him mic. I can't. हाँ.
Because I've studied Marx and other
Marx. Okay,
Marx.
Marx is a communist fellow.
Yeah.
Yes, Karl Marx,
So
Lenin.
at the end, Marx says that after the proletariat revolution, the whole accumulation will go on and distribute, and then one particular group will stand out in that. So there also, again, if we are not seeing many of the capitalists, but there is one capitalist who is ruling everything.
Ah.
So like that he states. So at the end of the day, every one is in misery, and only one person is dictating the terms, and
Yeah.
according to that only you have to live
So,
your living.
Correct. Concentration of power happens.
Concentration.
Correct. No? Yeah. Good. So you can add. So can you give, if you know more details, can you add on this capitalism, communism? I have heard whatever I heard, I explained, because you have studied, you can add.
Basically, capitalism is what you told, and privatization of assets. That means everyone can have their own assets and everyone can flourish in their life. Communism means nobody has anything.
Correct.
Only the state owns every
State.
single thing.
Very good. State
And
owns
whatever income or whatever wealth is generated, that is distributed within the subjects.
Mm.
So that is what communism is. And socialism is a bit slight downstep. I mean,
Okay.
socialism is not like communism. Communism is extreme form of state-owned capitalism. But in socialism, capitalist ideology is there, but not to that extent. Like China. Today, China is the economic hub, we will say. US is also there, but China is also there. China is practicing socialism, but at the same time, it has some capitalistic identities in it. Not like Russia. Today, Russia
Not
has
fully.
fallen down just because it has practiced communism. It does not have any.
Yeah.
It is not accepting that capitalistic ideology only because of that. So
Yes. So Prabhupada also describes in his conversations that though it appears very nice, see, both were made with a noble idea. These were philosophies, especially after World War, it became very confronted. Forefront they came, and there was intense quarrel on how world should orient towards which and all like that. But interestingly, both do not accept the first point of Ishavasya. Due to which there will be some anomalies. Anomalies, matlab, some defects will happen. What will happen? In capitalist, as we already saw, exploitation can happen, crime can increase, some malpractices can happen. Somebody who is not having facilities, he feels he is dejected practically. Is it not? So there is intense race for power, and all that will happen. On the other side, communism, though it looks very nice, but there is also, we are ending in another 5 minutes. At the same time, communism, there is also a lot of, as he told, laziness. People don't feel that they have to strive for it. Everything is dictated by state. Everything is practically, you are limited in what you can have for your life. And also, there is also a lot of corruption. That's why Russia fell, actually. There was a lot of corruption because people don't want to lend away everything to stay. Huh? The power slowly becomes, they want to usurp and hold. There is also a lot of corruption there. So it is very dissatisfying. Prabhupada, when he visited Russia, when he saw the people of Russia, he thought these people are most potential for spiritual life. I can see that because they are practically dissatisfied, fully miserable. He told this, and they were looking for actually, because they everything was owned and controlled and exploited by state. And imagine if the state is owned by some narcissist or some such kind of people. It happened like. Then the whole community, whole society is ruined. It happened. Some capitalists put his own men as the president of Russia, and it happened, right? In case of Russia, it happened. And that man was, though he professed communism, he worked for capitalist, and he ruined the whole country only. Anyway, the point is, these philosophies, because they are not grounded on the acceptance of God, they will fail. And Prabhupada explains it here. We'll read this paragraph and then end. In modern society, read it. Who has the mic?
In modern society, there is always a great quarrel between the laborers and the capitalists.
Laborer means communists.
This quarrel has taken an international shape, and the world is in danger. Men face one another in enmity and snarl just like cats and dogs.
कुत्ते बिल्ली जैसे झगड़ रहे हैं आजकल. In Hindi, it's more graphic. Snarl like cats and dogs.
Sri Isopanishad cannot give advice to the rats and dogs.
Cats. So आपका वो हाँ ठीक है, अभी इसलिए मैं हटाया cats.
But it can deliver the message of Godhead to man through the bona fide acharya, holy teachers. The human race should take the Vedic wisdom of Sri Isopanishad and not quarrel over material possessions. One must be satisfied with whatever privileges are given to him by the mercy of the Lord. There can be no peace if the communalists or capitalists or any other party claims proprietorship over the resources of nature, which are entirely the property of the Lord. The capitalists cannot curb the communists simply by political maneuvering, nor can the communalists defeat the capitalists simply by fighting for stolen bread.
Fighting for stolen bread. See, every word is interesting. Bread is first of all stolen, and you are fighting for stolen bread. ये इसका सही बंटवारा होना चाहिए.
If they do not recognize the proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the property they claim to be their own is stolen. Consequently, they will be liable to punishment by laws of nature. Nuclear bombs are in the hands of both communists and capitalists. And if both do not recognize the proprietorship of Supreme Lord, it is certain that these bombs will ultimately ruin both parties. Thus, in order to save themselves and bring peace to the world, both parties must follow instructions of Sri Isopanishad.
So no matter what wonderful idea you create in the world to run a society, if one doesn't accept Ishopanishads, this first principle, it will always lead to quarrel and reunion and no peace. So in one sense, Ishavasya principle is the ideal way to live peacefully and happily in this world. And in scriptures, this is also called by another name called as Varnashrama. So we will see these concepts in next class. Okay, so what we saw so far is how one should understand everything is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord. First point. Second point, there is quota for everyone. In the nature is there, in the food is there, everything is there. And thirdly, one should not take over others. Okay, so capitalist, communist ideologies, where they are, what defects they can have, and what's the best way to live in this world. Like, we will stop here for today, and we will continue after the Janmashtami and Prabhupada Vyas Puja festival. So we will meet next Sunday. Next Sunday. Actually, I'm not yet planned. How convenient is Saturday for all of you? Not good. ठीक है, संडे करेंगे. संडे में इसको करके ट्रैवल करूंगा. 1 बजे से निकलेंगे. ठीक है, संडे करेंगे. वो फिजिकली रहूंगा, उसके बाद में शायद ऑनलाइन होगा. ठीक है. Thank you very much for taking out time in this festival time. We had to change the date because of this, but in future we'll keep it as much as possible same. Shri Ishopanishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki. Wish you all happy Janmashtami. Question.
प्रभु जी आप बोले कि अगर खुश रहना है तो भगवान को सुपीरियर है करके एक्सेप्ट करना है, तो मैंने तो एक्सेप्ट किया है प्रभु जी, बट मैं खुश तो नहीं हूँ प्रभु जी.
तो वो समझना है ना, एक्सेप्ट करना मतलब आगे क्या है वो देखना है. So the second and third points are also important to understand. What is my quota? What is not my quota? Right? So that's why Varnashrama, I was telling about Varnashrama last, I hinted there. And what is that Varnashrama mean? We will see that in next part. There is a lot of discussion there. In fact, this first, second and third shlokas, they all deal with Ishavasya Tattva, and they explain that Tattva in more and more detail. Okay, so we will discuss that in the progress of these verses. It can't be done so shortly. Okay, anything more? Hare Krishna. Thank you.